Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. It is time once again for that weekly painting progress. So this week's goal seems to have been quantity and not quality in terms of painting. Not in terms of the models themselves. Some of these are quite nice figures. I just slapped, and I mean slapped, and not slap chop, but literally just slapped the brush against the models and just called it a day. And we're going to start off with the first one here, the Space Sheriff, who unfortunately all the other colors I put all over him are not really showing up now because he's just too shiny. But the Space Sheriff came to us from Papsicles, and I had to paint it up like Gyaban, Ujukeiji Gyaban. And I'm not going to start singing the theme song, but I am known to belt out a mean rendition of it at karaoke. And I'll leave it at that. I do have a couple more of these because I am going to do Scheider and Charivan. Might as well, right? I don't know who's supposed to be. Actually, looking at the three of them, it doesn't seem like it's supposed to be anybody in particular, but, you know, it's always best to keep it that way just to make sure your bases are covered and nobody who's feeling a litigant or anything like that is going to come after you. Obviously, we wouldn't want that for any of the people making these models, but just a real quick one. My wife and I had a fun time watching these DVDs of this show back in college 20-something odd years ago. And now we have the Blu-rays that my son's been watching, which is just kind of weird and, you know, circle of life type thing. But anyway, do you want yourself a Space Sheriff in addition to all the other stuff that Papsicles continues to make for us? As always, we will have those links below. And speaking of more Papsicles, I don't remember which set this guy came from. You'll notice he is quite glossy. That's because I got these guys sprayed with a gloss coat right before we had a big storm roll in California, and it has consistently been raining since. And I've learned my lesson about spraying outside when there's lots of moisture around, and I'd rather not ruin the models. So apologies for the extra glossiness. Once this storm subsides, we will go ahead and deal with them. I really wanted to make sure that the skull did not match the skin tone. I think I did okay with that. And I guess I'm not done with the Papsicle stuff. Gosh, so this was not the greatest paint job. You can see some splotchy, ugly, I don't even know what those artifacts are. Just not good. But this was like one of their landmates, or at least inspired by a landmate. Some people might say Infinity. I say Appleseed. Of course, some people say Infinity, but everybody says Appleseed anyways. Those little baby arms especially. I liked this pose. I like the collapsible cannons on it. I had absolutely no idea how to proceed with it, but it's painted at least. To give you a good sense of scale here. Crouched over Knife Skull Man. Combat suit from outer space, and our big mech so far. Alright. Time for a little guy. This is another one of those RAA, is it 2 or 3AH guys, and I cannot remember what it all stood for. I showed you guys a while ago, because I got him handy. One of the little Blade Champion guys. I've got some of the angels he made, and they're sitting around waiting to get finished. And yeah, I didn't do the best job, but this guy's so stinking tiny. I did put him on a 15mm base. I want to say this is like one of the boss models. And I don't remember what scale I printed him at, but I can guarantee it was not at his native resolution. I want to see these guys are scaled for 10mm. Because like when you grab a 6mm, yeah, big difference there. I don't remember what scale they are. A lot of the earlier ones like this were all one single piece. I like support-free printing. I don't like doing it on my resin printer because I can never get these guys off. So I just went ahead and sucked it up and threw some supports. This is at almost a 4x zoom. So the fact that you could see all of my sloppiness, I apologize for. You get it nice and zoomed out here to a more normal resolution. I think it looks okay from a distance at that point. And I mean, honestly, I think I scaled him for 15 millimeter, and I guess if I put him on a similar size base, they'd be pretty comparable. Alright, what else we got? This guy I had been meaning to finish up. This was from Dragon Trapper's Lodge. A while back they had their Masters of the Elements, kind of an avatar airbender type thing, except obviously he's bending some earth. I don't know what happened on his arm right there. That's really weird. It's all kind of scuffed up and gross. Obviously it wasn't me. This is a very quick paint job, and again, the fact that we've got it so zoomed in, despite its glossiness, I figure it's good enough for a tabletop standard. I had absolutely no idea how to paint him anyway. But if you guys have listened to me ramble on this channel enough, you know I'm a sucker for whenever I see figures with too many limbs, so I had to get that guy painted up. It had to happen. Next up is something that came out, I think, just the day before I posted this video. I printed it immediately and painted it immediately. And the reason was I was going to have some of these in a video very soon. These are new models from Raging Heroes. These are their cyborgs. And obviously that cyborg bears a little resemblance to the ancient machines that used to awaken in the grim dark of the far future. And I do like the fact that, yeah, it does, I mean, obviously it looks like a Necron, but it gives a bit of a old Kron vibe to me, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just the blades, the pointiness. The limbs are obviously far too long for those old boxy guys, but I love this release, and actually I'll probably have a video on the Raging Hero stuff soon, because I think, as always seems to be the case, I ended up printing most of the release like within hours of them putting it up, which, I mean, you know, I don't get any commission or anything for it. I just really like the figures. They're really nice. Everything's a single piece print, but we'll talk more about those. And this new set is like perfect if you just want a bunch of random models for skirmish type events. Like this guy, I mean, I was thinking immediately like 5 parsecs type stuff. It is a robot bounty hunter. Well, that's like all nice and bright now. It's nice when the lights want to work. Yeah, he is super shiny. Unfortunately, he is also super glossy. We'll work on that. But I just dug this. It is a cybernetic gunslinging. It's cybernetic rising Zan, and that's probably a deep, obscure cut for some of you. Samurai Gunslinger Rising Zan. It's been ages since I saw that game. That's getting up there in the years. Wow. But yeah, maybe that's what we're going to call him. I saw this and I was like, this guy needs to be in a skirmish game immediately. The swords, the guns, the cloak, everything just works well for me. It gives me a bit of a Parker Barrows vibe from Malifaux. Parker Barrows being one of my favorite masters back when I actually knew how to play Malifaux, which was some time ago now that you think about it. I don't know about you think about it, but I think about it. And I'm rambling at the moment as I'm casting my gaze upon the tiny little shelf nearby me, thinking I had Parker Barrows hanging around here, but I guess I finally put them away. That's weird. I'm really bad about putting things away. In fact, I'm trying to figure out a better way to store everything and put things away. And I have a lot of stuff that I would rather just give away. And it's like, there's nowhere handy or nearby that I can take this stuff to. And I'm like, I would be more than happy to just give it to people who actually need it. Not that any of us need any of this tabletop stuff. But, you know, especially like kids that don't have access to this stuff. I'd love to just be able to give it away. So, you guys have any ideas or suggestions? By all means, let me know. And finally, I'm not proud of the job I did on it, but I am proud of the fact that I finished it, and plump, it doesn't even fit. Great. Alright, so this is an awful paint job, and I'll be honest, I didn't do the best job on this print. I don't know what happened here. You can see there's this big, nice gash. Where did that come from? Why in this only one spot? I have no idea, and as I said before, I ended up breaking off one of the little spikes here as soon as I was going to sit down to film, and I lost it. I don't know what happened there, but this is Grace Novamon from Erkman's Minis. It's a sloppy paint job, but it is a finished paint job. There are a couple of things, and I mean, as appreciative of as I am the fact that this model exists in 3 dimensions, there's a couple little things that are missing from him. Mainly, he's supposed to have the big, crazy array of like blue transparent blade things, but I'll forgive everybody for that one. That's not a big deal. The only other thing is I would absolutely suggest, and I don't know if this is something that's planned for it in the future, is, or if you know how to do it yourselves and you're experts at Blender, unlike me, I would absolutely cut this guy up to make it easier to paint. So this is actually all one piece, which means it was a serious pain in the butt to get him done. What I would probably do is have the legs and that floaty base all as one piece, and then have the cloak cape thingy that he's wearing attached to the torso, and then have the arms separate. Maybe keep the hair on. I don't think the hair is going to make a big difference. I mean, it would be nice if it was removed, I guess, so that we can get in there and really get everything painted. But man, that gold paint did not do me any favors, and I honestly probably should go back and, I don't know, like, use some ink paneling liquid or something and just go back and kind of highlight all those. I don't know, because once it's like I start doing panel lines and kind of inking those little crevices, then I can't stop. And I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. But overall, I'm happy that this exists. I'm happy I got it painted. I wish I would have done a better job printing it. But you know what? I figure with that tiny of little issue, I'm not going to let it get to me that much. And despite my hurriedness in terms of getting things finished, I feel like in the end, it's a nice little cross-section of the obscure stuff that tends to permeate my table when it comes to painting. And I swear, one of these days we're actually going to sit down and play a game again. I can't remember the last time. Honestly, I feel like it was before the pandemic even. That's sad. I will try my best. But in the meantime, while I try to work up the, I don't know, willpower to sit down and play, hopefully all of you guys are working up the willpower to pick up those brushes and do a better job than me, and be proud of your mediocrity. Embrace it much like I have. I mean, I know I liked a kid, but a lot of you are also just as good, if not better, painters than myself. I will always humbly admit defeat when it comes to that, and hopefully all of you are out there enjoying yourselves as well when it comes to hobby time. I really just wish I had more. It's like my time just is non-existent these days. I was like looking at getting a PS5 and I'm like, do I really want to do that? I'm never going to use that. I should just go buy another printer. Buying another printer makes more sense, doesn't it? And speaking of printers, we'll have links to all this stuff. If you want to print it all yourself, come to think of it, I don't think any of this is like physically cast products. That's, I mean, not that atypical these days, it seems, but that's more just I'm not interested or excited by a lot of the stuff that's on the shelves. If you guys are, that's fantastic. If you have any recommendations, as always, let me know while you're checking those links, and hopefully enjoying this stuff just as much as me. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!